Hi guys, it's Jessica. I haven't done a video update in a couple of weeks, or maybe like a week or something. If you guys hear a lot of noise in the background, I got my dishwasher going and yeah, trying to get some cleaning done around the house. It's pretty early and I haven't had a shower yet, so I look like crap. But you guys don't care. You love me anyways. This is pretty much just like a pregnancy update. I did an update like a week or two ago, and I was talking so fast that I really didn't get a chance to go into detail about some of the things that have happened at my doctor's appointments and different things like that. I did do a video on the nursery, a separate video, just, titled Nursery Update. So if you are interested in what Anthony's room looks like, you're more than welcome to check that out. I have since then made a few changes. I got the stickers put up on the walls and it looks really nice. So my baby shower is going to be February 16th. Today is January 22nd. So I really don't have that much farther along to go. Okay, so I went to the doctor last Thursday, and I go back on January 31st. And after that, I will have doctor visits each week until I have the baby. So January 31st will be my last doctor's appointment. That's 2 weeks. And then after that, I'll be on weekly visits. So let me tell you a little bit about what happened at my last doctor's appointment. At my last doctor's appointment, I actually saw the midwife that works in the doctor's office. They try to rotate you. There's 2 doctors there, and then there's 1 midwife. And they try to rotate you so that way you can get the opportunity to meet and get to know everybody, just in case your primary doctor isn't working the day that you go into labor. Unless, of course, it's a scheduled delivery, then there's always that chance that you could go into labor and your primary doctor not be working. So they want you to get to know the other ones, which is fine. But I met the midwife, and her name is Rachel, and she actually told me that she does not deal with cerclages. She doesn't put them in. She doesn't take them out. She doesn't check them. She's not trained in that area. Because once again, a cerclage is more for a high-risk patient. So she doesn't mess with cerclages. She did tell me that my cerclage will be coming out at 36 weeks. Because that's pretty much the exact time both of the doctors that work there will take the cerclage out. And so I'm 31 weeks now. Everything has been going so smooth with this pregnancy. It's quite unbelievable. I haven't had any problems. I've had some swelling in my feet and legs, which is normal. I've done some research on the internet, and I've asked the doctor, and I've talked to other women who've had children, and they all tell me it's pretty normal. Unless you blow up like really big, then you may have another problem on your hands. But for the most part, it's just natural water weight. So everything's going very well. I haven't even had as far as a yeast infection or anything like that. I had a yeast infection with my last pregnancy and for about a month, and I was just miserable. So that was the only one I've ever had my whole life. So I, really didn't know how to deal with it being pregnant. Plus I was on bed rest, and I wasn't having a normal pregnancy anyways the last time, so I wasn't allowed to use medication for that regularly. I was allowed to use Monistat or whatever, but only only like a really little bit, and I wasn't allowed to like actually, I was only allowed to put it on the outside, not on the inside. I know that sounds gross, but you know, when you have you know, problem pregnancies, they won't let you do things like that. I'm not even sure you're allowed to do it with a normal pregnancy, but it doesn't matter because I haven't had anything like that. I really haven't even had any heartburn, which is surprising because I've had heartburn with both my last 2 pregnancies. I haven't really had any heartburn. I really haven't had any acid reflux. Everything's been going very well. I didn't even get morning sickness with this baby. I got a little nauseated with, you know, here and there in the first trimester, more like at night, but I never actually got sick. So that was cool. So everything's been going very well. And I got a lot of headaches too, like in the beginning. I do remember that. And I'm still getting the Charlie horse pains in my legs, like maybe once a week. You know, I bought some more bananas last night at the grocery store. It's just a matter of keeping a certain amount of potassium in your body. And I drink lots of water, so, you know, with the potassium and the water, you know, those should be under control. But, you know, they're pretty much not preventable. I mean, if you get them, you get them. You just kind of got to deal with it. And that's probably something hereditary. My mom said she got a lot of Charlie horse pains in her legs when she was pregnant with me. So maybe it's hereditary. Maybe it's not. I don't know. So anyways, this is really what I wanted to tell you guys. Oh, by the way, I don't have gestational diabetes, so if you didn't watch my last video, I don't have gestational diabetes. I had to go back for the 3-hour glucose test because I had failed the first one, which was really annoying. If you watch my last video, you'll kind of understand why I was a little annoyed by that. But I passed, no gestational diabetes. So basically, why do I say a lot? I don't know. I guess because I don't have a script and I'm just thinking off the top of my head. So basically, I went to the doctor last Thursday and the midwife, she was like, do you know that your baby is borderline macro something? Macro something. I can't remember the name of it. In fact, I probably should have done my research on it before I made this video. That way I could have been a little bit more detailed. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? And she's like, it just means that your baby is extra big. And I'm like, well, is that dangerous? And she's like, no, not really. She's like, unless you have gestational diabetes, we really don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay, so that's a good thing. And she was like, it's not a bother. It's not really. Just be prepared to have a big baby. And I was like, okay, really, what choice do I have, you know? When I was 27 weeks, guys, he was already weighing 3 pounds. Well, I'm 31 weeks now, so I'm not quite sure how much he weighs, but he probably weighs 4, maybe 4.5 at this point. I'll probably find that out at my next doctor's visit. I'm not sure, because my next doctor's visit, I'm actually having a non-stress test, so I'll let you guys know how that works out. She just said that he's big, and I was like, well, there's really no way that I can be farther along than what I am, because this baby was planned, and I pretty much have it, you know, tracked, like right to the right to the day of my missed period, like, because I actually knew I was pregnant like the day I got pregnant. I knew I was. I could just feel the changes in my body. And because I actually took 2 pregnancy tests that came up negative, and then I waited 2 weeks and I took them again. So I'm pretty much, you know, I know that I'm only 31 weeks. Like I have it pinpointed right to the day almost. And she was like, no, you're not farther along than what we think you are. We ruled that out in the first trimester. That's why they do an ultrasound in the very beginning, so they can rule that out. And they can get all your measurements and things like that in the beginning, so they don't have to worry about that in the end. She was like, he's just big. And I'm like, well, is there a chance he might, you know, even himself out, like gain a bunch in the beginning and then kind of like gain, you know, weight slower at the end? And she was like, yeah, there is a chance he'll just even himself out. He may not be that big at all. He may only be 8 pounds, but 8 pounds is still big, baby. So it's whatever, as long as he's healthy. And, you know, I'm happy. As long as he's healthy, I'm happy. Which I'll be happy either way, you know, but of course nobody wants to have a child that's disabled or, you know, sick or whatever the case may be. So I just want to bring home a healthy baby boy. That's my goal. So he's a big baby. I'm going to do my research on, because she said he's 50% is like the average at that time when I had that ultrasound done. The weight, like something about, she said 50%. I really, to be honest with you, should have recorded our conversation so I could go back and listen to it, because I didn't take anybody with me, and it's kind of hard for me to remember everything that she said. But she said that he's 86% above his normal weight. And 90% is putting him at like macro something. What, I can't remember the word that she used, but it was macro something, and all it means is like extra large baby. So he's borderline macro something, she said. I can't remember the name. I'll have to look that up, the word. But anyhow, she said it's not really anything to worry about, and it can't be anything to really worry about, because my doctor, he wrote it on the chart, and my primary doctor, but didn't discuss it with me, didn't talk to me about it. He's not much of a talker, and I told her that too, and she was like, yeah, he's not, but he probably didn't find it anything to worry about. So, you know, and you're already worrying because of the simple fact that you have lost pregnancies in the past and you have a cerclage with this pregnancy. So he probably just wanted to keep that to a minimum. And I told her, this is actually what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm running it 12 minutes and 45 seconds, so I'm going to try and make this quick. 3 people that my fiance works with have lost their babies within the last month. One lady was a week away from her due date. Another lady was 2 weeks away from her due date. He doesn't work with the women, but he actually works with the husbands. And I don't know what happened in those situations. It's very sad. And then another lady, she was only 6 months pregnant. She went to the doctor and found out that her blood pressure was sky high. And they told her that if she would have waited one more day to come in, she would have been dead. And that tells me it was most likely preeclampsia. I'm not sure how you say that, but I'm pretty sure that that's what it's called, preeclampsia. And they ended up forcing her to deliver her baby, and of course it was not at a viable stage, so it passed away. They're actually burying the baby this Wednesday at the same cemetery where I buried my baby back in 2008. So 3 women have lost their babies within the last month. I have been very just sad and just, you know, thankful at the same time, and just, I know how it feels because I've been there, and I wouldn't wish anything like that on my worst enemy. But just pray for those families. I don't know names, but just pray for those families because they need healing right now. And if you have a cerclage, most likely you've been there too. So just pray for those families because it is really sad. And just pray that my pregnancy goes well and that everything is a-okay. Because I told my fiance if something bad happens, I won't be able to function. They'll have to put me in a home because I won't be able to function. But everything's going to be fine. But I got to go, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.